Hey, hey, hey.
Oh, hello.
It's a Tuesday. It's a
It's
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
It's time to talk. We need to talk. Sometimes I send out for the live notification. I just put, we need to talk. And I hope that that gives
Mm,
people enough anxiety that they're like, oh my God, what is this? And
we'll
then they
trip
come in and
them
it's just
into it.
us. It's just us being like, so these video games. Anyway, once
Them
again,
video games.
yeah. Once again, I'm joined by my co-host and co-friend Josh
Co-friend. We
Covell.
share.
And we got some stuff to talk about.
Yes, we do.
We're both
Yes.
barely hanging on
I'm
mentally.
doing better than you are right now.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
will say that.
We were talking
Uh, well,
beforehand.
I can kick it off then if you want me to.
Please do. You said you had something uh, positive relating to the heaviness surrounding our
Yeah, so
country.
as everyone knows, shit's fucking crazy. But to start it all off, of course, as I said I would do last week, I'll do again this week. Trans rights are human rights. I'm
Hell
keeping
yeah.
myself to that to kick off every Talk Tuesday with that. But what I want
And
to
happy Black History Month.
yes, Black History Month. Says the two white men.
Well,
It's important, but
we're not
it is
trans
a little
either, but like we support that.
That's very true. No, so like what I've been kind of like, it's what my like over the weekend it was pretty rough to just be bare bones. It was pretty rough, obviously, for obvious things. We have a lot going on in their country right now, in the U.S. and U.S. is fucking stupid right now. No ifs, ands, or buts. Uh, I had, like you are feeling today, Andrew. I had a lot of existential dread over the weekend. Lots of doom scrolling.
Yeah.
Uh, First bit of advice that I can offer anyone: put your phone away for a little bit. Don't tune out. Don't check out. There's a difference.
Right.
Tune out. Don't tune out or check out, but put your phone away.
Yeah.
What I did was I physically, and I'm going to be doing it tomorrow when I work from home. I'm putting my phone physically upstairs while I'm working downstairs.
Yeah.
I do not want my phone near me.
That's actually
I,
exactly what we had to end up doing today. Like, police, it was like, can you please take my phone? Just like force me to not be on it. And I
yep.
did the same thing. I wasn't really on mine. And we sat and we played Shadow of the Colossus a little bit, which is like the most straightforward, like, you just a little guy trying to kill giant monsters. And I played a little bit of the Pokemon trading card game, which I've been really digging, and just kind of was like, no social medias.
Take a day to like just breathe,
Yeah.
Then the other thing that I was going to say, hold on, I'm going to do. Forgot to post on Discord. Yeah, let me post on Discord that we're streaming. The other thing that I kind of came to the conclusion of, because I had a lot of anxiety over the weekend. Saturday is when I really started putting my phone down, walking away, letting myself breathe. Right. Came to the conclusion on Sunday. My wife and I were coming home from church, and it came to the conclusion that there is one of the tactics that's happening right now is a shock and awe tactic. It's meant to leave you emotionally emotionally crippled,
Drained.
so
Yeah.
much so that you don't feel like you can fight back. That's intentional.
Yep.
That is very intentional. It wants you to do that. So then one person I saw mention were like, there's too much for everyone to focus on. So focus on a handful of issues that you see. Andrew, I know you and Polisa have gone to Free Palestine, like I was about to say riots. It wasn't riots, marches and protests and stuff like that. Stuff like that. Like do stuff that has some tangible benefit.
Yeah.
Don't do everything. Don't do like, all right, I'm going to donate to here and then put my time over here and then put my time over there and donate more money over there. Pick a handful of causes, like one or two. That max for now. Like if you can do more, awesome. If not, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just even if it's just one, just so that way you're getting involved in some way, shape, or form. And I've determined the two things I want to help with. Because I was thinking about it on the way home from church. Mr. Rogers has a really good quote. Was like when he said when he was little, his mom told him when he was scared, and if you're scared, if you're in a scary situation, look for the helpers.
Yes.
And I know that quote has been misaligned, and when I was googling it earlier just to make sure I would get the quote more accurate. I still paraphrased it there. There was a bizarre amount of articles where people like the fetishization of Mr. Rogers. I was like, that's a weird. I understand what you're saying. It's like romanticizing Mr. Rogers a little bit more than maybe you need to,
Right,
but
but
like
fetishizing?
fetishization, like what a
Yeah.
weird fucking choice for an article title. But I think the sentiment is important still because we're dealing with unprecedented bullshit right now. Like we're essentially not going to even sugarcoat the reason we felt so doomed is we're essentially in like a slow moving coup right now.
Hmm.
Um, the good news is people are fighting. In fact, I saw something that gave me hope because I think the reason it felt so hopeless was that all we were getting from the opposition party, like the Democrats, was literally just, can you believe Donald Trump is doing this? You'll regret this. Vote in 2 years. I'm like, we are losing literally our country right now. It's
Yeah.
not like this isn't like 2016 where we were just mad about a racist being in there. Now we're mad about a racist being in there, and he's dismantling every social system we have.
Yep. And
Um, there,
targeting
there
the people who need the support the most.
and targeting people that opposed him the first time,
Right. Yep.
which
Oh
is
yeah.
it's
Firing all
it's
the
fucked
people
up.
who were all the FBI people who were investigating him, and
Uh-huh.
it's like, what the fuck? People, the world is protesting as well, like against him, like starting on inauguration day. I don't know what's still going on, but like Berlin, there was a big protest in Berlin of like 150,000 people. Germany may
Mhm.
know a thing or two about how this process
So
goes.
exactly.
They've
And
seen
so I
it
know we don't
before.
want
Something I can't remember. I can't.
to.
It's right on the tip of my tongue.
And sorry, just to see everyone in chat. What's up, Keaton?
Yeah.
What's up, Parallax? Thank you for stopping by, friends. And I promise, I know Keaton, you're chilling in the background. No worries with this, Parallax. I promise we'll get to non-serious topics. Just addressing this off the top. I'm going to be doing a bonus episode on my Patreon for this, but what I was going to finish. What I was going to say. I looked for helpers, so I've determined there's two things that
Hertz Hurtler. Also, were you saying Ertz? It's the devil in the first one. I have to guess.
hurts the derver.
Ertz the devil.
That's pretty good. Um, so look for the helpers, and yes, I was. There you go.
Nice.
It's the derver. Um, so I'm focusing. I think there's two things I want to do. One, I want to focus on something local. Our church is LGBT inclusive, so I want to look into uh volunteering with them because they do stuff where they'll help out, local families in need and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That type of thing is a very real thing, and you don't have to do it through your. Most people I understand aren't religious for very good reasons because the church is fucked up.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a good church or you don't want a church, look up a mutual aid organization, right? Like there's tons of things in your local area that you can donate your time for, and that'll help.
Yeah, and they
Two,
need
the
it right now
second
because
thing.
their programs are being gutted.
What? Sorry.
They need the support right now because their programs are being gutted.
Mhm. So any time you can give, any money you're able to give. I can't give a lot of money, but I can give time.
Yeah.
So I can do stuff for free for them. You know what I mean? I don't know what I would do, but so help out with a local organization for sure. The other thing is that I want to do is I want to start planning it. I want to do it twice a year. I want to have an environmental charity stream, a stream that goes to an environmental charity because the EPA is going to be gutted at some point. Let's be
Yup.
real. If it hasn't already been completely disenfranchised already.
Just trying to be a
Dude,
nice guy. That's hey.
that's the most important thing. That's why I was saying like it doesn't have to be a religious thing. Just pick a local organization because the way we're going to get through this is by relying on each other, and that means
Yep.
local charities are going to be more important than grand overarching schemes.
Oh yeah.
So not schemes, but grand overarching like Red Cross or something like that,
Yeah.
which is great and
Some of
helps
them
in
are.
catastrophes. But if you want to help very immediately, a local charity is great.
Yeah, and not
Um,
like Salvation Army or Goodwill
no,
because they're violently anti just about every good cause, but specifically where they target most is LGBT. I
Yep.
was at the store and the guy in front of
Um,
me needed some money for groceries. I gave him $10, and he was flabbergasted that people still did stuff like that. I'm sad to hear how surprised he was, but really happy to hear that you did that, Parallax. It's the little
and
things that make the world a
honestly,
better place. You're right.
that it's I need to learn from that because I remember there was a dad that needed gas, and he came up to me. I could tell he was very shy and anxious, and I feel like such a dick because I was just like my reaction was like, yeah, come on. Like I was annoyed. I was pissed off that he was
Uh,
bothering my day, and I still feel guilty about that. Like I'm not proud of that reaction,
hmm,
so I need to figure out something better for that. But that's on me. That's going forward. But what I was going to say is like I what was killing me was that I was sitting by and doing nothing, right? I was frustrated. I was like I'm so helpless in this. Like what can I do? So even if it does fuck all, like I need to do something to benefit more than just myself because I don't know. Look for the helpers. Whoever is doing the help, you go do the help too.
yeah.
So local charities, and I'm going to try to organize charity streams with what small podcasting platform I've built myself, what small internet platform I have. I want to start doing stuff like that, and I've picked two charities. Like I'm not sure what if they seem good based off the charity, like the charity raters and stuff like that. There's a charity called Earth Justice
Hmm.
where they basically fight for climate related stuff in courts, and during Trump's first presidency they won over 70% of their cases.
Wow.
um so doesn't mean it's going to be as effective now, but they know how to work the current system for the benefit of the earth. So I want to donate to them, even though it's going to lawyers and stuff. We need to fight legal battles too for this.
Hmm.
So you can't just rely on doing conservationists who are on hands on the ground. You also need one of the biggest causes of climate change, fighting corporate greed, and
Yeah.
that's what Earth Justice can help do. And then also for a direct on the ground thing, I want to do two charity streams a year. One will be for Earth Justice. The other will be for Rewild, which was started by Leonardo DiCaprio, and they're a charity. From what I can tell, they have a very high rating, very transparent with what they like, where their money goes to, apparently, and most of it goes to the charity. It's not just to how it'll just go to like office fees and shit, like
Yeah.
all the clerical stuff. Most of it is going to what they say it's going to, and they work with local and indigenous people in areas around the world to see what can best benefit their local habitat and environment, and they use that as a way to understand to allow those. Essentially they will, I don't know if it's exactly like this, but from my understanding, if they can rewild a land, what that means is like they'll remove structure like man-made structures like dams and other things, and then just let nature take over, like let
Nice.
nature reclaim the land back. That's very kind of hippie of me, but I kind of fucking love that idea of just like nature taking back what we took from it.
Yes. No, that's not as hippie as it could be. I love stuff like that. I love, particularly in media, seeing like in Near Automata, just like
Mm,
crumbled buildings with like a tree growing up through a skyscraper, like the earth reclaiming, like specifically that phrase, like the earth reclaiming. I love stuff
yeah.
like that. And to
So on their website, it even says rewilding is a positive reframing for nature conservation, involves holistic solutions to remove barriers and reestablish vibrant wildlife populations and intact to reestablish vibrant wildlife populations and intact, functional, and resilient ecosystems that effectively integrate people. Rewilding means the mass recovery of ecosystems and the life supporting function they provide. Rewilding also means changing the way we think. Humans are part of the wild. We are one of the species among many,
mm,
bound together in an intricate web of life that ties us to atmosphere, the weather, the tides, the soils, the fresh water, the oceans, and all living creatures on the planet. Earth is our home. Together we can protect and restore it.
nice.
And they do habitat restoration, they do species reintroduction, ecological management. They also have a focus on biodiversity, which is very important because if you ever look at like shit that like companies do when you always heard like, oh, once people made a stink about the rainforest, they started planting trees again. Isn't that great to help? That's good, but if you ever see what they actually do, it's the same fucking tree in a row. So it's you lose all the biodiversity of all the multiple hundreds of different plant and fauna and like all the
Yeah.
different type. And on top of that, because it's in like hallway style kind of, you lose not take out the natural look and say that doesn't even fucking matter. It's because it leaves no room for like certain types of animals to hide from predators, so it causes more predators to become more like have a disproportionate population growth, and then another animal population to disproportionately shrink because now their habitat is so radically fluctuated.
Right. God, I didn't even think about that. Talking about
I didn't think about that either.
all this stuff, and then Leonardo DiCaprio, I was like, everybody go watch the music video for "We Love the Earth" by Lil Dicky. It's a great, little ditty. It's a very catchy song, and the music video is great. But it really does have a message, and it's like all the proceeds of it are going towards. It may actually be uh, the same organization as Leo, because he's in it as well.
What's the name of it?
I think it's called "We Love the Earth" by Lil Dicky.
Okay.
It's a great. It might just be called Earth, but it's great. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's just called Earth.
Because his songs are. He's like a comedy rapper, but there's actually a really strong message to it, and a good cause. But yeah, he's like, there's one line where he's just kind of like, he does rapping parts and then there's singing parts. There's like every musical artist like of the top 40 radio like mega stars are guest singers on this song to help promote it, and all the proceeds are going towards the earth. Lil Earth up in this bitch.
So I was thinking about it because apparently it's called We Love the Earth is the name of the organization. But oh no, that's Discover Great Nonprofits. Okay. And so they have a whole thing where they have like a list of nonprofits that you can donate to. Okay. Cool. And they add to them each year. There's like 2022 nonprofits, so they add to the nonprofit list of like good nonprofits too. So this is welovetheearth.org, and it's a list of like nonprofits you can donate to.
Nice.
That's really kind of cool.
Yeah, I love that.
So anyway,
that's cool, man. I'm glad you're taking proactive steps.
It's something small, but I have to follow through with it now. And the other thing though is I also real quick there is a video game content creator named Critical Kate Willard, and she is a transgender video game historian who does some of the deepest research you will ever see. Like she does some fantastic work. So I joined her Patreon. It was only $1 a month, but Sweet. I'm like, if I can support a trans content creator and someone who's obviously being affected by the shit that's happening right now, then yeah. So I think that's what I'm doing currently. I just have to hold myself accountable to actually fucking do it. So I'm actually going to be reaching out to I'm going to be looking into this next week or so how to set up a charity stream, because there is something that's done through Twitch itself, which part of me doesn't want to do because it is owned by Amazon, and I wouldn't be surprised if every donation that goes through Amazon uses it to donate it, and then they can use it as a write-off.
Tax write-off, yeah. I guarantee you.
So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, if it goes to the charity, I don't. Whatever, like they already don't pay money in taxes. I don't. Why the fuck would I care it?
Yeah, fuck that. Do it yourself. Fuck the billionaire. Fuck all billionaires. Well, there's no ethical way to become a billionaire.
No.
Guillotine. Guillotine. Guillotine.
Not at least in our current. Maybe in a world where everyone's a billionaire, and then, but that would be crazy. Anyway, so, ethics in business, no fucking way.
Yeah, right.
So that's why I'm a little bit more hopeful, because I'm taking proactive steps, or at least I'm convincing myself I will. I have to follow through with all of this still. The other thing is that people are finally fucking starting to do something about it. There was a big there was protests in California, like anti-ICE protests,
Yep.
that shut down the 101 freeway. There was a protest at Chuck Schumer's house being like, what the fuck, Chuck, start doing shit.
Yeah.
There was also a bunch of congressmen, no Republicans, of course, but if there would be one fucking Republican, that would speak volumes.
Yeah.
But anyway, showed up at the U.S. Treasury and was holding a protest and a big, like, they're demanding entrance for their constituents and stuff like that. So even if it's just a fucking photo op, it's putting pressure on somebody. It's doing something. So also all of his tariffs people have already called his bluff on them, which is with the exception of China, but that's such a low tariff, it's whatever. And Mexico's and Canada, all this shit, like, not to continue to lay on this, but like, shit's still not good. But compared to what it was Friday and Saturday, where everyone was they were just taking over the Treasury and all this other shit, and the only shit we got out of fucking Chuck Schumer was, are you going to be watching the Super Bowl next Sunday?
Oh my God.
When you see the guacamole prices, blame President Trump. I'm like, that's not fucking helping anything.
Right.
Like, listen, I'm not asking you to be like, fire and brimstone, but at least show some goddamn spine, for fuck's sake.
And like,
on
a personal level, I'm just like, I'm struggling really hard financially right now. Like, it sucks. It's like mac and cheese for dinner, cereal for breakfast type level, and it sucks. Groceries are still going up. Sure, I have a hard time being all that upset about guacamole prices going up when he's trying to fucking reopen Guantanamo Bay and create a fucking concentration camp with 30,000 people when at its peak only held under 1,000. Like, now I'm seeing shit about like, oh, well, they're going to just start sending like American criminals to like El Salvador or something.
Instead of addressing the issue of
like,
why we have so many fucking criminals.
What? Right. Yeah.
Let's not talk generally about because our laws are fucking broken.
Yes, or designed or working the way they were designed, which is to attack minorities. Like,
yes,
I am not.
The other thing that I saw that gave me a little bit of like silver lining, not hope and silver lining, doesn't mean the fart.
Go on.
The fight is far from over. The fart is far from over.
It sure isn't. There's 4 more years.
But I think the thing is though that what is it? Someone brought up. I saw a thing. I forget what it was. There's a rule in like psychology or something like that when you're trying to eradicate a behavior in someone, and you're trying to reward like the positive behavior and get rid of, ignore the negative stuff and whatnot. Generally, when you're on the verge of eliminating that negative behavior, they have this one final crazy outburst. And when that happens in a person, that can happen over the course of a couple months to a year or whatever. When it's to a country, that can take a lot longer because you're dealing with a populace. And if you think about it, when Obama got elected, that was kind of the start of it. The racism scab that we've had at this country. If we can push through this, I don't know if this is actually going to be the case, but this is my hope, is that this is not the last gasp, but this is like the big pushback before the big correction, if that makes sense. Don't know. That's an optimistic viewpoint. I know. I have no idea if that is literally, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That's just making me feel a little bit better that if we can push through this and survive this, things will get better. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but I feel like if you don't at least have like hope for how things can change, then you give into nihilism and shit just is going to get worse and worse and worse. Then the people that you fucking hate will get exactly what they want, and then we'll get like everything that they want, they're going to get because of that apathy, and that is the opposite that we should be having right now.
And that's by design.
It's by design. So even if it's just fucking just like donating $1 to a minority creator, to a trans creator, to a person of color who's a creator, even if it's just creating art for the sake of fuck you to the system, like
Yeah.
just do something that is not what this current administration wants.
Yeah. And
I'm not saying
call,
do anything illegal, don't get yourself in trouble, but like
well,
well,
I'll say
depending
it.
on what it is.
I'll say
Yeah.
don't get yourself caught. Uh, the I've heard from multiple sources that calling your representatives actually is one of the most helpful things you can do. That's free and takes very little time.
I did call my representative actually on Friday, but now I might do it again tomorrow or something.
Yeah, I've admittedly fallen off of that a bit. It was every day, like when, you know, in the height of the Palestine stuff, I was just like, when we were out, you know, God, we'd go out what felt like every day protesting and calling the reps just like I had the had them on speed dial. But apparently, like they have to, if you send letters, if you send emails, they get ignored. But calls, they have to, I think, they have to write down the three, I think it's the 3 or the 5 most common talked about topics that were brought up, and that kept getting pushed up the pipeline. And our generation doesn't do phone calls as much anymore, so most of the time it's like crotchety old folks, you know, old white people who, you know, which way they usually vote, just calling their representatives and just saying like, I'm so glad about these new laws and stuff, and I'm just so happy that we're crushing DEI and get rid of all this critical race theory bullshit, even though I couldn't even tell you what it was, you know. So it's important to make your voice heard in that way.
Absolutely.
I sent a letter to Santa too. Never got everything I asked for. Well,
but so yeah, like I don't know if any of that makes anyone feel any better, but I think, at least for me, I'm starting to see people push back. I'm starting to see, and it's on multiple fronts. It's getting the current Democratic leadership to fucking grow a spine. They're pushing on them to be like, do something about this. There's protests literally like blocks long outside of the U.S. Treasury demanding Musk and those people get out of there.
Yep.
Like there is so much that's just, yeah, there's stuff happening. I don't know how it's going to work out. I am still scared, but there is, at the very least, people pushing. And I even have seen more critical news articles, specifically from Wired. Wired has been really pounding the drum hard recently in the last couple of days, like with really pointed articles about stuff. So there is some mainstream media actually taking a critical lens at it. So
did you see the New York Times?
No, I didn't.
They posted this thing that was like this big, huge article that was like, this is how fascism works. Like, this is fascism. Like, and to hear, like, I know a bunch of, you know, all the MAGA heads are like, you know, you don't even know what that really is. Oh, they love to throw that word around. This is textbook. And the New York Times is saying it. Like,
who gave like Trump a pass for so fucking long.
I know.
It's wild. So yeah, I like I said, it is not to make anyone necessarily feel better about this. Like it's like shit's still going on. Like bad shit is still happening. No ifs, ands, or buts. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat that.
Yeah.
Bad shit is still happening. But look for the helpers. Who is currently working towards something?
Yeah.
Hell, I wouldn't be surprised even if you call another, if you see a member of Congress, like whether it's a Senate or a senator or a House of member of the House, even if they're not your rep, I would assume like just give them a call and say, hey, I'm not one of your constituents, but I really appreciate how you're fighting for us. Like I'm sure even that goes a long way. And I'm going to be calling my congressman probably sometime soon. So yeah, it just, we can move off of the heavy stuff.
I have a pretty good segue.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, two, I could talk about my main thing after this, but you saying like look for the helpers. I just saw a really heartwarming story that, you know, you never know if these things are real, but I hope it is. Somebody was like, you know, I'm very like outwardly goth, like pretty hardcore and intimidating to a lot of people. And the other day, I was in a mall or something, or at a department store or something. Who goes to department stores anymore? I would have never guessed I'd see President's Best Bud Seek Heil in front of the presidential seal. My God, that was. I almost laughed the first time I saw it because I was like, it's so, and I know exactly what's gonna happen. Nothing, because their side is going to. Oh no, he's saying my heart goes out to you. Shut the fuck up. Jump up your own ass and die. Like, okay, I know it's angry. So angry.
No, it's fine. I've already had that anger because my youngest brother came over and he was like, "Oh, he has autism. It's an autism tech." I'm like, "Really?
When is he?
Really?
Has he done it before?
When has he ever done that before?
Yeah,
ever?
Or oh no, it's a Roman salute. Okay, you do it. What did he do then? Do it like he did it. Do it on camera. Anyway.
So yeah. So anyway, you won what
Yeah.
you were going to talk about.
I guess there's this little text story that I read, and it was like a goth person was like, so they were somewhere in a big crowd, and a little kid came up to them and was like, "How, can you help me like find my parents or whatever?" And they took the kid and they went to the little PA thing, and they had somebody page the parents, and they came to get him. And when the parents came, they were like, the kid was like, "I did what you asked, Mom. I did what you said. I did what you said." And she was like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you." And da-da-da-da. And apparently, like, she had told her kid, "If you're in trouble, find a goth," which I love that, because like goths are always the most wholesome people, and the point of why they like express themselves in such a quote unquote intimidating way to normal standards, is to keep away fake people. So people who actually know, like, I've never met a goth that wasn't just a great person through and through. So I thought that was really wholesome. When you were like, look for the helpers, I was like, in my head, I was like, look for the goths. What are the punks doing right now? What are the punks and goths doing? Like,
no, it's actually
follow
funny.
them.
And speaking of just kind of like parodies of like phrases or whatever that kind of like fits into what we've been talking about. Did you ever see the old commercial for Atari where they have the jingle, have you played Atari today?
I don't think so.
See those? It's from the 70s, right? Late 70s, early 80s, and the jingle of it was like to advertise, Atari 2600 and whatnot. And so the jingle of it goes, have you played Atari today? And I had it in my head all day yesterday, but the lyrics were, have you punched a Nazi today?
I
and
love that.
Just made me happy ever since then.
I support this 1,000%. And yes, Parallax, the goths, the metalheads, all of the oddballs. They are the best people. That's my people. Have you punched a Nazi today? Unfortunately, I haven't. But I would like to get to that. Anyway, another pseudo segue into something a little.
Sorry, real quick. I'm sorry. One last thing. So, did you ever watch the Three Ninjas movies? This ties in with punching a Nazi. I promise.
You know what? I actually haven't, and I'm such a fake fan of ninja-based media because I've seen the first one ages and ages ago. I don't remember anything about it. I think Hulk Hogan was in it.
No, that's the fourth one.
Okay. Oh, not the fourth one.
So in the fourth one, actually, it's funny though you bring that up though. So the fourth one is called High Noon at Mega Mountain, and it has none of the same original child actors as the first two movies. The third movie has, I won't go into it. There's a whole weird lineage of like how the actors progressed. But anyway, they completely recast all the three brothers in the fourth one, and the middle brother, his ninja name is Colt because of what. Sorry, it's so silly. Played by a dude named Michael Lasky.
Okay.
Well, he was a kid at the time. He would grow up to become a Power Ranger.
I thought that name sounded familiar.
He also grew up then to become a champion MMA fighter.
Nice.
And he's also a super, like, he's a pretty, like, liberal, progressive martial arts teacher in a very red Utah.
Nice.
And so after the inauguration and everything that happened with the salute, he did a whole series on how to punch a Nazi.
Oh, hell yeah.
Find him on Instagram. A Big Bang Mike is his Instagram handle.
Nice. Do you remember what Power Ranger he was?
I have no idea. I'd have to, like, look it up. Big Bang Mike underscore at the very end of Mike. But
Nice.
yeah, he did a whole series. He does a lot of videos periodically, and he does a lot of reels. He does like reels every day type of thing. But he's really funny. He seems pretty chill and down to earth. Also helps kind of break up bring some levity to doom scrolling.
Yeah, seriously.
So yeah, it just I just sorry, but when we were talking about that, it just made me chuckle, and then I remembered like, yo, one of the three ninjas literally is teaching people how to punch Nazis. How fucking dope is that?
That's awesome.
So anyway, you can continue. I'm done interrupting
Oh,
you.
it's okay. Oh, okay. He played he didn't play an actual ranger. He played like a young version of the second Red Ranger. And I
Okay.
guess like either a flashback, or sometimes they did episodes where they would turn into kids, or they would turn into like little kids.
Mhm.
But he I guess played the young Rocky, which is the guy Steve Cardenas who took over after Austin St. John left. Yeah. Did you guys see the
Side
knife
note,
salesman that refused
I
to?
did see that, Drew. Yes.
No, but re-Nazify a knife.
There's a knife shop owner in Texas. A woman comes in, brings a knife, and she's like, I want you to put like this seal on this knife. And he goes, no Nazi shit. And she
Whoa.
goes, what? And there's a delayed reaction in her. She looks up, she goes, oh, I did not. Now the video claims that she had no idea, or sorry, she claims she had no idea. Obviously the video then says she claims she has no idea, like sarcastically.
Yeah.
I don't even know if if that whole thing, whatever bias you have, you're going to read into it.
Right.
You're going, if you think that if you in their current political climate, if you're left leaning, you're going to assume that she is secretly a white supremacist or a Nazi, and she is feigning ignorance. And then if you are not, then you're going to be like, "Oh, she didn't know. How would she know?" Type of thing. And it's
Yeah.
just whatever.
There's enough
I don't.
people to
I
be
choose
mad
not
at.
to read into that. I choose not to read into it. I still love that. I'm more happy with the dude's reaction, where he's like such a strong, visceral, like, no,
Yeah.
no, like whether her intention was, whether she was intentional or unintentional, the knife shop owner's reaction is even better, just for the fact that he's just like so viscerally like, fuck that.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's enough people to be mad at who are overtly supporting it that I'm just like, oh, okay. She can.
6 is also 9. It's also 69.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So segueing into like my main thing, I don't normally go for like the big one first, but we're also 40 minutes in. So talking about the earth and the wildlife and preservation and all of the good things about the creatures in this world, how would a 60-year-old white woman possibly know what a swastika is?
Was it a swastika? I didn't know what it. I just thought it was like maybe like the eagle crest or something like that.
Yeah,
Like I
or
have
like
no
the Iron
idea.
Cross. There's a bunch of like.
If it was something like a less, if it was a swastika, then yeah, then she clearly knew what she was doing. But yeah, sorry, continue, Andrew.
So yeah, the earth, creatures of the sea that we need to protect, the things that we were talking about. My main and most exciting and happy thing that I experienced this week, to get away from all of the things that make me angry and sad, I took Belisa to the aquarium because
nice.
they did the we went to Adventure Aquarium in Jersey. They were doing the Animal Crossing national tour or world tour, because I saw ages ago they were doing this in Japan. But you can go and like, we got a picture like with a big Tom Nook mascot, like somebody in a Tom Nook, like suit. And they had little like plaques next to everything.
Yeah, I forgot they were doing an animal. Sorry, I got the advertisements for that too.
Yeah. Like next to some of the exhibits, there'd be like a little like plaque poster thing that's like Blathers from Animal Crossing, and he gives you a little bit more information about the whatever creature it is and whatever. And that was a lot of fun. We just kind of went down and spent the day there. It was like a nice, pretty chill kind of. It was like an early Valentine's Day thing. That was my Valentine's gift to her, was using the rest of my money to go and walk around and be just that annoyingly cute couple holding hands and looking at all the sea creatures. And I always try to find a moray eel when I'm at a aquarium. Not connected to Elm Crossing, but if you guys are ever around here, the Boston Aquarium is the fucking shit. Yeah, is that
Good to
the
know.
isn't it just called the New England Aquarium? I think I've been there.
New England, I think, is how pronounced it.
Yeah,
That's really cool though, dude.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, so I went up there when I got my tattoo, my Oddworld scarification, which now you like can't even see because it's totally healed, unless you're like really up close. It's just like white, which just looks rad. I drove. God, that was like an 8-hour drive. I went up there, got the tattoo. The next day, I went to the aquarium just to because I love aquariums and sea creatures, and sharks are my favorite animal. And the so my hand was just like wrapped up. The only thing I could have on my hand was a saran wrap. So no gauze or anything. So it was just I was basically walking around with like a bloody glove that it was like I would notice was just like slowly bleeding out, and I'm like, oh my god, somebody's gonna think I killed somebody, because I had to change the dressing because of all the blood, and I was like, oh my god. So I found a bathroom in the like they have a separate like movie theater area there where
Mhm.
you go and they do the 3D experience or whatever, and there wasn't anything showing either that day or for several hours, so nobody was in there. So I went in and I took everything off, and I just had like these bloody wrappings, and this right when I was making the most mess. Luckily I put a bunch of towels down, so like any blood wasn't physically touching anything that other people would touch, but it certainly looked like it. Right when I was at my most vulnerable, a janitor came in and was just like, it was that like, and he looked at me, and I looked at him, and he looked at me, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, I didn't kill anybody. Nobody's hurt. Nothing's happened. I just got a tattoo. But it was very funny. And you're right, Drew. The aquarium was pretty sick. However, I think my favorite is probably Atlanta. When I
Mm.
went there last year, the oh god, they have whale sharks. I think they're the only aquarium in the country that have whale sharks. And these things are
Wales.
massive. It's like the size of a bus, and they're so beautiful. I literally started to cry when I saw these beautiful creatures in just like, oh, there's a photo I wish I could share. Um, I'm just gonna hold my phone up to the camera real quick because that's the fastest way to do this. Look at this otherworldly photo. There was another couple there that that was like, hey, can you like take our photo in front of the the aquarium, the glass, I don't the viewport, what's the word I'm trying to think of, I don't know. And we were like, yeah, sure. So
Oh,
we took their photo, and none of the photos were like, there weren't any great shots of the whale sharks, or they had the big ass manta rays and stuff. And then they were like, oh, do you want me to take one of you? And so they took one of Police and I from behind. And look at this photo real quick. I have to take my headphones off for a sec, so I won't be able to hear you. But
no worries. Whoa, that looks awesome. That is so cool.
it's stunning. Like that could be an ad. That could be an ad for the aquarium.
Yeah.
It's like, the composition.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, damn. Oh, it's so cool. That was when we went to go to the Near. That was our 1 year anniversary celebration. We went to go do the Near concert, where Okabe-san and Yoko Taro were there. He came out wearing his little weird head, like the Majora's Mask looking
Mm-hmm.
ass head. Anyway, but it was very cool, very relaxing, and a nice escape from real life for a bit, just to watch some sharks and jellyfish swim around peacefully.
Like I was saying, put your phone down in some places, man.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
the doom scrolling does not help at all. It sucks. It has done wonders for my mental health. Like yesterday, I was on my phone more often. I felt myself slipping back. Today, I was on it a lot less,
Yep.
and it definitely helped a ton. Also, I have some cool stuff that I can talk about once you're done yours. I have some cool stuff to share too.
Oh, word. I would say the only other real thing that I have is actually, this is kind of a segue. We were talking about just like, I don't know, we've gotten like into some heavy stuff lately, and yes, we are like definitely doing a lot of looking outward, but I know some of our conversations have been a lot of like looking inward, just kind of processing
Hmm.
stuff that we've like in terms of our upbringings and your unconscious biases and stuff that are just you try as hard as you can to unlearn these things.
Yep.
Um, my I forget if I had mentioned this before, but I've been getting back into this book. It's called No Bad Parts, and I first found out about it right before I went to go get my tattoo, which, as you know, was kind of the my little mark of healing in terms of going through the divorce and all of that. um,
Mm.
and so I listened to this audiobook on the drive up to Boston, and I'm listening to it again now, and I forgot how helpful it is to, because it's kind of all about like every voice in your head, every anxiety, every fear, every bit of pride, every part of you like is you. And it's kind of like connecting with, it's almost like there's these little exercises that's like, where's this anxiety coming from? Like, where's this fear coming from? Where's this belief coming from? How old is it? How old is this version of you? How old does this version of you think that you are? Because a lot of the times there's like really traumatic stuff that'll come up for me, and it's like, oh yeah, no. This thinks that I'm still 16, or still thinks that I'm in a house with, substance abuse
Mm.
and parents screaming at each other, even though I moved out of my mom's place 12 years ago now, or 10, 11 years ago now. No, it is 12. But it's super helpful to process things, or I've found it anyway, really helpful to process things in that way of just kind of connecting, like a way to connect with yourself. Because I don't know about you, like I dissociate really hard when it comes to like all of this stuff, like everything going on in the country, and just feeling helpless and powerless. And it's just like, it's so easy to, which is why I get stuck doom scrolling, just to kind of like, you just, blinders kind of come on, and you're just like, I don't even know where I am. The world kind of fades away. And so I
Hmm.
found it grounding and a way to like to really connect with myself again. And I will once again highly recommend this book, particularly the audiobook. I know you don't really do audiobooks, but there is a physical version. But I like the audiobook because there are parts where the author, like, it's done by, most of it is done by like, a voice actor, somebody doing a performance of it. But there are parts where the actual parts where the actual like psychologist who wrote it will lead you in a little like session, as if he's
Yeah,
like, as if you're there with him. And
that's
it's
cool.
incredible. Yeah. So, not to kind of go back to slightly heavy stuff, but I've been
No,
experiencing
no, no.
that again lately, and in a fictional world that is unfortunately probably not going to be fiction much longer. um, I really got back into the Metro series. Do you know about that? Like the
Yeah, yeah. I've never played any of them. I always equate them for some. I conflate them, I should say, with the Stalker
Stalker.
series.
Yeah,
I understand they're not the same, but like in my mind,
but they kind
they
of
are.
are.
I've played a little bit of Metro 2033. By a little bit, I mean like maybe 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So I can't really say I really played it. I
Yeah.
dabbled in it at best. So yeah, I know of it, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I played the first one. I forget if I beat it. I think I did, but I never got to any of the other ones. But I'm actually like listening to the audiobooks of them. I really like the performance of the guy who reads the ones on Audible anyway. And I remember you talking about Roadside Picnic. Um,
Which I still need to start.
yeah. I got the audiobook for that too. Since I finished Metro, I was like, oh, let me read or listen to Roadside Picnic so that we can talk about it, because I knew you were going to. There it is.
Yep, there it
Um,
is.
but I really, Stalker 2 is out, and I've waited like, I don't even know, what was it, like 16 years, 15 years or something since the last one came out. and I can't afford a $60 game right now. And I'm kind of waiting for some of the bugs that are apparently present in this game to come through, because it was made in a literal war zone. Like,
Yeah.
it was made in Ukraine, like while Russia was attacking. They still are. And the fact that this game even exists at all is a miracle. But so in order to like satisfy that part of my brain, I was like, let me go back, let me read the Metro books. And I read the first one ages ago, and then I just finished the all three. There's a Metro 2023, 2020, 2034, and 2035, and they're all great. They're excellent. I love the world building and just seeing like what would society become if everyone had to live underground in like an elaborate metro under the city of Moscow, because everything's irradiated on top. But it's great.
Nice. I'm glad you're getting back into it.
Yeah.
I can't. Sorry, I just heard I think my wife. I heard something fall. I'm assuming my wife just dropped something. It just scared me. It didn't sound like a big ball. It felt like like just something dropped.
Oh, okay.
Thing.
But yeah, there's a lot of crossover between the Metro and the Stalker games, because I think they both use Roadside Picnic as a inspiration point. And even in Metro, the main character Artyom is a stalker. They just call it the same term, like people who go out into the irradiated wastes. But the Stalker games themselves are more. It's more of like a singularity point called the Zone, where that's like super irradiated and just warps reality around it. It's kind of like that movie Annihilation, if you've ever seen that, with Natalie Portman. Oh, it's great. Nope. It'll mess with your head though. It's probably this.
I'm good. There's already too much heavy shit that we're dealing with right now. I don't need to watch something else.
Oh heavy. No, I know. It's like an escape kind of heavy though. It's like why I can watch Aliens at any point, even though it's super stressful.
Well, that's different, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of in that line. Like it's sci-fi. It's kind of a weird fantasy. It's not. We don't have to worry about anything that we're actually worrying about in real life, because this is reality bending, weird alien nonsense. But it is a whew, that's probably the scariest non-horror movie I've ever seen. It really messed with my head afterwards, which is the point.
What's it called again?
Annihilation. It's with Natalie Portman's the main character. Oscar Isaac is in it. Tessa Thompson is in it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's excellent. It's got a weird ending that I don't know how I feel about, which apparently was changed from the books, which usually it is. But I really like it. And what they do with the both practical and CGI effects are really, really cool. It's somewhat recent. I want to say like 2017 maybe.
2018. You're 18. Pretty damn. That was pretty spot on.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, the only thing I have on my list of things that I know we haven't talked about is, and I know it's kind of old hat at this point, but how do you feel about the Switch 2?
Oh, we can dive into that real quick. I am neutral on it. I'm neutral in a positive way, though, in the sense that, like, I didn't really have it. Like, I think this is the smartest thing Nintendo could have done with this. I think if they tried to reinvent the wheel again, you would have had another Wii U. I think with the crazy success of the Switch, it has the chance to be the best-selling console of all time.
You don't think it's too similar that people will just be like, if I already have a Switch, there's not, the jump up is.
Well, then by that logic, no one would have bought the PS2.
I guess that's true, but the jump from PS1 to 2 is much larger graphically and performance-wise than the Switch 1 to 2 is.
Yeah, but but then it'd be the same thing. Like, why buy the PS4 to PS5? Like it's Nintendo Switch 2. It's very straightforward. I don't think it's going to confuse anyone.
Yeah.
The Wii, and on top of that, the Switch is backwards compatible. Switch 2 is going to be backwards compatible. So even if they buy Switch games for it, it's not going to have the Wii U debacle. While the Wii U did have a backwards compatible model, it did not have it like the base. You had to buy the deluxe version to get the backwards compatible with Wii games.
Did you?
So yeah, the base model, which was like 8 gigs of internal memory, that was it.
Yeah.
Was white and it was not backwards compatible. The expanded model was 32 gigs of memory and it was backwards compatible. And General Onyx is in, agreed with them wanting to avoid another Wii U. I think the biggest point with the Switch 2 is to be more friendly with other third parties to get their games into the ecosystem. Usually never been into Nintendo since the 3DS era, but been more interested now recently. I mean, the 3DS era wasn't that long ago. I mean, if you really think about it, the 3DS era overlapped with the Switch, to be fair. But
Yeah.
in terms of home console stuff, Nintendo hasn't really courted third-party developers since the Super Nintendo up until the Switch. Like if you really think about it, after they were so their business practices were so awful during the NES and Super Nintendo eras that it drove third parties away from the N64, from the GameCube. The Wii had a bunch, but most of it was shovelware. Like
Yeah.
if you're talking like, your Activisions, your EAs, your Ubisofts,
Ubisoft. Yep.
your like yeah, Ubisoft put stuff on there, but it was like Hannah Montana and shit like that.
Yeah. SingStar.
Not no. With that said, actually, you want to talk about inherent biases and stuff like that.
Mm.
Something I love. I'm gonna put this. I think can you are we able to post links in chat?
No, I have that turned off because I get a lot of scammers and spammers and slammers and
Okay.
jammers.
Are you able to put links in chat?
That's a great question. I don't know. If you
Uh,
send me one, I can try.
I just sent it to you on Discord.
Okay.
There's a really cool website called Femicom.org, to be precise. And it's a whole thing about like since 2012, we've preserved, celebrated, remixed, and reimagined the history of girls, electronic games, and toys. We work from a place of positivity and historical perspective. No pink sucks vibes. And I was thinking about that when I said, "Oh, fucking Hannah Montana." I'm like, you know what? Maybe that game was good. Maybe it was good. I write it off, but like the person who runs this, she's been on Retronauts, she's been on the Video Game History Hour. Rachel Weil, I think is her name,
Hmm.
and she has talked a lot about how like so very often the quote unquote girly games are overridden in video game history. One of the things
Totally.
she talked about, it was either on Retronauts or the Video Game History Hour, was that Barbie Fashion Designer, the computer game,
Yeah.
is one of the highest selling computer games of all time.
Wow.
No one talks about it because it's
Mm-hmm.
not a gamer game. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And kind
Only
of
boys are gamers. Girls don't play video
it
games.
really kind of like, in all honesty, it when I listened to her episode on it, and I still fall into this trap, it really kind of like, did it come packaged in with a Barbie toy? That I do not know. Uh, but it really got me thinking, where it's like, I just made a joke about like, oh, a fucking Hannah Montana game or Mary Kate and Ashley. No, but some of those games were like really good and in depth from what she's talking about. Like she basically is unapologetic about like you shouldn't be set, like you shouldn't be afraid to like girly things. It doesn't make you less of a gamer that it's a
Right.
girly game, quote unquote. So I love the idea of kind of reclaiming this nostalgia, of being like, no, this nostalgia is valid and it's good, and just because it wasn't the quote unquote core gaming audience doesn't mean it didn't have an audience.
Yeah.
um
Or even like
and
with the animated series, like the
Mhm.
Barbie movies and stuff. Like my sister used to watch a bunch of those, and I would like offhandedly catch something and be like, "That was actually really good." Like I remember actually really liking the Barbie Nutcracker movie, and
Mm.
Polisa actually was like, "Well, one of my favorites of all time is the Barbie Princess and the Pauper," and we've watched that like 3 times since we've been together in like the just under 2 years that we've been together, and it's really good. Like it's genuinely really good, and a lot of them, to tie it back to something we often talk about, done by Mainframe. And Ian Corlett and Gary Chalk both voice characters in
Oh, okay,
in
okay.
the Barbie Princess and the Pauper, which is better than it has any right to be. Uh, Also, the villain is played by oh my god, what is his name? He was like the Martin Short. The
Jesus.
the the villain is played by Martin Short in that movie, and it's so funny.
That and sorry, General Onyx is writing.
Mm.
Speaking of girl games, most of most of my favorite for PC games were the old Nancy Drew mystery games. Usually got labeled as such, but were these as girl games, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
I've heard those.
not to like completely get. I know I completely deviated topics. I was talking about the lack of third party developers on Nintendo systems, and it
Right.
led to this. But now there's something fun for everyone to learn here. The Femicom, you can
Yeah.
check out her
Definitely gotta
work
check that out.
there, and she does a lot of research into um, like stuff that is quote unquote girl games. I'm seeing here that she has like link to like an interview on the making of Barbie fashion designer, emulating the Casio Loopy, which was like I think it was a Japanese console geared towards girls type of thing.
Huh.
So yeah, it's really cool what she does, and I think it's really. I've tried to get her on the podcast, and she never responds. But
Ah,
yeah,
that's
it
all
is
right.
what it is. But it's just kind of cool. Like I thought that was a really I love that. So yeah, to bring it back to Nintendo, the if you look at it like the Wii U also was a flop, and to bring like your like your AAA gaming experiences, whether it's from like like first a like from first grade, like AAA studios is what I'm trying to say. Like if you look at like Okami, even right, they ported Okami from the PS2 to the Wii. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't like a game made for the Wii. There's a handful, and the Wii I think is a lot better in retrospect. There is a lot of shovelware on it. Don't get me wrong.
Hmm.
Um, and then the Wii U obviously was the Wii U, but like where the premier gaming experiences were on Nintendo for quite some time, were on the handhelds. Like your world's end with you, Bravely Default, your Pokemon games, your
Hmm.
like Phoenix Wright, Professor Layton,
Professor
like you're
Layton.
you're like these really like unique game titles, and you didn't really see anything coming like that to the Wii or in turn the Wii U,
Yeah.
except for first party titles. Like I guess the point I'm trying to make is like the best games on a system on Nintendo systems for a long time were made by Nintendo.
Yeah.
There wasn't like the N64 had some, i.e. Rare, with
Yeah.
GoldenEye and Banjo-Kazooie and stuff like that. But outside of Rare, who do you have? And then you get to the GameCube and you had a couple from Capcom with like Beautiful Joe and Resident Evil 4 to start off.
Hmm.
Um, but outside of Capcom, what else was there? I mean, there's a
Right.
couple others, I'm sure. And in the Wii, it was mostly shovelware. You didn't really have like these banger titles. And then like the biggest ones was Project Rainfall, which were those JRPGs, like Xenoblade and uh uh Tower of I forget what Project Rainfall was. Did you ever hear about that?
No.
Oh, okay. So Project Rainfall was a grassroots movement for video game. It was a video game oriented fan campaign that was founded to promote the release. I'm reading this off of Wikipedia. Do they still have a website up and running? Oh my God, Operation Rainfall still has like they do like news articles and shit like that. That's wild.
Huh.
It began in 2011. It was a push to basically get Nintendo to bring over a handful of Xseed games. Um, Xenoblade Chronicles,
Okay.
The Last Story, and Pandora's Tower.
Huh.
Xenoblade was obviously developed by Monolith. Um, Last Story and Pandora's Tower were developed. Oh, okay, sorry, published by Xseed. The Last Story was actually made by the same group that did Final Fantasy.
Huh.
Mistwalker.
And Xenoblade ended
That's
up blowing
Hironobu
up.
Sakaguchi's. What? Sorry.
And Xenoblade ended up like really blowing up. So
Yep.
that's a good thing
And
that
if
they
it
did.
wasn't for Operation Rainfall, they would have. It would have come. So it was a fan campaign from 2011 to 2015, and then in 2015 it turned into a news blog. So
Wow.
yeah, there you go. A little bit of game history for you right there.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
But
like there really wasn't a whole lot, and then the where all the third parties that really made like fun and unique titles for Nintendo systems were all on handhelds for a long time.
yeah, so them
And then
combining handheld with, your home console with the Switch was the smartest thing that they've ever done. I've never when that first commercial came out for the Switch, not since the GameCube had been so excited for a Nintendo console.
Yeah,
Like I was like, this is
same.
gonna be amazing, and it was, and it is. Unfortunately,
It
like
is one.
there's still the best games on there are, I would say, the first party games, but there's a lot
Yes,
more
but there's at
options
least
now.
premier games on it that aren't just Nintendo games.
Yeah.
I'm thinking games like, Octopath Traveler. I'm thinking games like Astral Chain. I'm thinking games like, uh, oh my gosh, well, there was another one I was trying to think of that went like really big. Well, Octopath Traveler too, but that came out on like on other consoles,
Yeah, a lot of
not
them
Switch.
were multi-platform. I'm trying to think of
Which
exclusives that were not first party.
hold on, Nintendo third party games, Nintendo Switch. I'm
I,
just gonna see what they come up with. Like if I Google like best third party games for on the Nintendo Switch. This is from Game Rant from a little while ago. So let's see what they have on here. South Park Stick of Truth. Okay, no. Dragon's Dogma, Horizon,
isn't that?
Bioshock Collection. This Doom Eternal. These are No Man's Sky. These are just ones they list. Obviously, they're not exclusive.
Yeah.
Um, Shin Megami Tensei 5. I know that wasn't exclusive. That wasn't exclusive. 13 Sentinels was also, yeah, that's on multiple systems.
Yeah.
Katamari Damacy Reroll.
I heard 13 Sentinels was good. I'm not really into tactical, grid-based games. Bless you,
Excuse me. There's
Josh.
still all sneezes. I can't sneeze just once. It's like 6 different things.
Yeah.
But like a lot of stuff that Square did, like they did a lot of third party stuff on the Switch. Platinum had a decent amount. I'm just curious, like top selling Switch games. Man, is my video lagging for you at all?
Not that I see.
All right, it's just all on me then. That's good
Huh.
then. Yeah, obviously the most popular ones are all the top selling are all Nintendo ones. Um, yeah, literally like the top 20 are all Nintendo.
Yeah.
Stardew Valley, but that's not exclusive to the Switch.
I'd be curious to see a list of non-exclusive or non-first party Switch exclusive games, because I think nearly every Switch game that I've purchased was a first party game.
You know what? What do I have in my collection down here?
I know I'm looking at my shelf right now, but I'm blind, so I'm gonna use my phone to zoom in.
You know what? I think the thing isn't necessarily exclusive stuff. I think it's fun. Actually, no. Now you know what? Let me put it this way. Um, Maybe it's not the fact that it's exclusive that's important, because if you think about it, the best games on Sony games are generally made by Sony, right?
Yeah.
Generally, same with Nintendo. But the problem is that Nintendo got no third party support.
Yeah.
They would have never have gotten a Doom Eternal. They would have never have gotten like so many people prefer to play games on the Switch because of the portability aspect of it and how easy it is. So like,
Oh
I
yeah.
just think the Switch, like, it appealed to every single market possible, and
Yeah.
especially like Animal Crossing New Horizon really bumped it up.
Oh my god. That especially with that coming out at COVID, the height of COVID. I have so I think the only oh my god, I think the only non first party Switch game I have, aside from so I have two. I have Sonic Mania, and I have this. I got the physical version of Scott Pilgrim. But the rest,
I
yeah,
have
Animal Crossing, Bayonetta 3, Fire Emblem, Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Kart 8, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Shield, Violet, not Stardew Valley. I hate that game. Why did I almost say that? Super
What's
Mario.
wrong with you? Stardew Valley's great.
I can't stand it. Super Mario Odyssey, Super
Nothing
Mario
wrong with
Party, and Smash.
Um,
They're all
so I,
all but two are first party Nintendo games.
I do have a lot of first party, but non-first party, I have. Can you hear me okay too? Since I'm
Yeah.
kind of talking sideways right now. I have Astral Chain. Sorry, it's just hard to read. Atari 50 collection, Bluey the video game, Axiom Verge, Dead Cells, Castlevania collection, Double Dragon Neon,
Nice.
um,
That was on Switch?
Fire Emblem Three Houses, which technically is like a second party title. It's not like technically developed by Nintendo, but it's like Pokemon where it might as well be.
Yeah.
Um, hold on. Humongous Classic Collection. You know the humongous point and click adventure
Oh,
games?
hell
Like,
yeah. Putt Putt Saves the
Yeah.
Zoo is a goat.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, there it is.
Nice. I loved the Putt Putt games as a kid.
And actually, it has Putt Putt Saves the Zoo on here.
It's the
It
best.
also has Putt Putt Saves the Zoo. Excuse me. Putt Putt Travels Through Time. Spy Fox, The Dry Cereal.
The
Freddy
Dry
Fish,
Cereal.
The Case of the Stolen Conch Shell.
Nice.
Oh, sorry. Spy Fox in Dry Cereal. Pajama Sam, Thunder and Lightning Aren't So Frightening. And Pajama Sam, No Need to Hide When It's Dark Outside.
Aw. My sister really liked the Freddy Fish and Pajama Sam games, but I'm a cold hard. I'm a Putt Putt fan through and through. All the zoo songs stuck in my memory. The penguin minigame. I know. I think all the time of the "Welcome to the zoo, zoo, zoo with the kangaroos, roos, roos." Oh God, I'm 9 years old again.
I also have Live Alive. I have The Longest 5 Minutes. I have Octopath Traveler. Got Pilgrim Game, Stimper Clippers, which I think is a Nintendo game actually.
I
SNK 40th Anniversary Collection, Sonic Frontiers, Sonic Forces, the new TMNT game, Shredder's Revenge.
Oh, that game's great.
Triangle Strategy, that like SquareSoft like tactical RPG.
Okay.
Tunic.
Yeah.
And then Undertale and Ultra Street Fighter 4. I also have Hollow Knight.
I still have never played Undertale.
Neither have I, so you're not alone.
Oh, man.
Don't worry about it.
I'm surprised. I hear about that game so much. And Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight, I did not enjoy. That's
I
kind
know.
of blasphemous to a lot of people, but real quick, sorry, what were you going to say?
I just have one last thing about the Putt Putt
Yeah.
Saves the Zoo. Have you played it?
No.
Oh man, so it has one of my favorite fourth wall breaks of anything ever. And in that, the song I was singing, like the "Welcome to the Zoo," like all the animals are singing this song to you. And then there's the part where there's like one of the monkeys is like sitting, and it looks like he's writing, and he's like kind of looking confused, and he starts to say something to the effect of like, "And it's something, something, something," and I don't know. Sorry, I haven't finished writing this verse yet. Like he's writing the song as they're singing it to you, and they got a little bit ahead of him, and he's like, "I haven't written this verse yet." That was the first time where, like, I was a very small child when I first saw that, and I was crying laughing. My cousin Ryan and I would play all the time, and we were just cry laughing at that part because it was so new to us. We'd never really seen like a fourth wall break like that.
That's awesome.
Always wondered if a remaster for Undertale would happen. I hope so. I think I remember that scene as well. Yeah,
you can still get it on modern systems. I don't know if it needs a remaster for Undertale.
Yeah, it's also like got a pretty charming pixel art style. So
that's kind of like, I thought that was the point of it. Yeah. Anyway, do you have anything else to talk about before I go into my stuff?
That is pretty much it for me. So you, sir, tell me what you have experienced this past week.
Oh boy, howdy! Well, I beat Infamous last night
for the first time.
No, I've beaten it before, but it's been the first time in like well over a decade.
Nice.
So I beat Infamous again. Still holds up, man. I my patrons voted on it,
Nice.
So I will be covering it for an episode in April. But it's I'll say this without giving too much of my thoughts on it because I want to save it for the episode.
Mm-hmm.
It is wild how forward-thinking that game was.
Yeah.
While also having some of the jankiest controls on the PS3.
Yeah. It's pretty janky controls, but the traversal, I think, still is great. Like the rail grinding is awesome.
Traversal is rough because you cling to walls like a fucking magnet.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not too bad. Like it's not game breaking to the point. It's annoying when there's sometimes I just want to fall, and Cole will just be like, if the wall's like right here and I'm up here, instead of falling down, he just goes right into it.
Yep. What was the one game that's like that. The Saboteur is very much like that
Oh,
too.
I have that game to play as well. My patrons did not vote on it, unfortunately. So yeah, beat that. Also, like the fact it is essentially the prototype for what the Marvel Spider-Man game was going to become. Like it's wild
Oh yeah, I can
how
see that.
similar it is in terms of like storytelling tone. Like I the story in the first Infamous is really fucking good.
Yeah, I
It's
remember loving it.
really good. And I don't think people talk about it enough because like uh Sucker Punch ended up doing, they did Sly Cooper and then they ended up doing Ghost of Tsushima, which obviously uh like one of the it's one of the most not worst sorry one of the most popular games on the PS4,
Yeah.
which I still think it got robbed for Game of the Year. I think um I that it lost to Last of Us Part 2,
Okay.
which I get, but I think a lot of that game I do think some of that game people voted for it because it was like it made all the bigots mad. So they're like, we're just like, I don't think that was the sole reason. It's a fantastic fucking game. But it just felt like Last of Us 1.5. The story was phenomenal,
Gotcha.
but like, I don't know. Ghost of Tsushima reinvented like how to do like maps in open world games where you don't need it. You ever
Follow
play
the
Ghost of
wind.
Tsushima?
No, but I
Yeah,
know
you
about the
follow the
wind
wind.
thing. That's so cool.
You swipe up on the touchpad on the PS4 and it guides you in the direction, so you don't have this mini map at the top part of the screen, and you don't have anything breaking up the gameplay. You can just exist in the world. And also, like, in terms of combat, I've played a lot of open PS4 open world games, your Horizons, your Marvel Spider-Mans, what have you. And this game, you have 4 different sword stances and you use them depending on which enemies you fight, and you have to swap between them in different combat, and you have to be much more intentional. It's very it discourages you from doing button mashes. And
I love that.
like not entirely, like you can still button mash a little bit, but you have to still be a little bit more intentional than what you're used to. Versus Last of Us, it just felt like Last of Us 1.5. Like the storyline was phenomenal, don't get me wrong, but it felt like, I don't know, it felt like it got maybe not because it made the bigots mad. Maybe it was more just like it got the Naughty Dog bump. You know what I mean? Kind of like how
Right.
people credit the Nintendo bump. It feels more like the Naughty Dog bump.
Yeah, or like the
Um,
Rockstar. a
yeah,
Rockstar
and
game
it's
comes
like
out, it's gonna get the hype. Everybody's gonna be like, "Oh my god, this game's amazing!"
yes,
Even if like there are parts of Red Dead Redemption 2 that I could not stand, but
oh yeah,
the level of craftsmanship and the presentation of it, because of that
yes,
endless budget, make the rest of it amazing. And Last of Us feels like that as well. Whereas I didn't not. Why am I? I did not play part 2. To be fair, I still need to play it. But from what I've heard and seen, it's kind of just like you said, a 1.5 of the first one.
and that's not to insult it.
No,
It's a really good game.
and it doesn't. There's
But
a
I
lot
just felt
that's like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. you know.
But like I don't know, it to me I guess like the thing Last of Us Part 2 has going for it is its story, versus Ghost of Tsushima has not, it's a good story, not quite as good as Last of Us 2 in terms of like character building and story arcs, but it has much more compelling gameplay, I thought. And I thought that was a lot more interesting than Last of Us 2. Anyway, I'm digressing.
That's all right.
So I loved replaying Infamous. That was a ton of fun, and excited to do an episode on it. So that's that.
Oh,
But one,
I did have
what's
one more thing to say about the Switch too. I remembered why
yeah.
I brought it up. What? So I forgot that that's what we were talking about originally. I think the only thing I don't like so far anyway is the controller. I really thought they were going to do something to fix what I think is a glaring fault of the first Switch. Is when you're playing with it, I'm pretending this little remote is a Joy-Con so I don't have a Switch near me. When you're playing with it sideways, all the buttons, the layouts change and the buttons are sideways. So would it have been so hard to have you be able to, like, maybe the buttons are on a little, I've complained about this before on stream, so I apologize if people watching have heard me, but could you just be able to rotate, maybe the whole face of the ABXY thing can rotate to the side when you're playing it on the side? Or what if they were color coded? Go back to the SNES, you know, the red, blue, yellow, and green.
I don't know. The joystick's still on the left side and the buttons are still on the right.
Right, but I'm talking about the face buttons. Like, so when you want to press
Here's the
X,
Joy-Con.
yeah, like when you want to press X when it's upright and then you hold it sideways, X then becomes your top button. And it's like, if you're used to a button being in a certain place, you turn it sideways, it's not in that place. Also, the buttons are now sideways. Or on the left Joy-Con, it's just arrows. You don't even, so you're like, oh, press the right arrow that is now actually pointing down. You know, it's so confusing. Like when I play Switch games with Polisa, when I show her a new game and she's just learning the controls, she's like, okay, what do I press for this? And I'll be like, oh, B. And she'll do the wrong thing. And I'll be like, oh, wait, no, sorry. B is now, because she's looking down at the controller to see where's the B.
That's fair.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, couldn't you have just done have a little thing rotate where the whole thing just clicks to the left 90 degrees, you know, for when you hold it, or, you know, the other direction if it's on the left. Like, just have it, like, swap back and forth, and then something clicks, you know, inside that lets it know that the positions have changed, you know? I was so mad about that. I was like, the next Switch has got to solve this problem. And then the fancy new Switch 2 commercial came out, and I was like, this all looks awesome. I can't wait to see the buttons. And there was fake leaks and stuff, and I saw like, oh, there's like, they're color-coded buttons. They're going back to the Super NES now, where it's like, it's just yellow, blue, green, and red. And it's like, sweet. What a cool way to harken back to the old Super NES, Super Famicom, and solve the button problem. And it came out, and it was the exact same problem, and I was just really mad. It just gives you a direction to press in that configuration. Yeah, but the configuration changes, which is my whole gripe with it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being old man yells at Nintendo, but it made me mad. I'm gonna get one when a game comes out, like a new Pokemon or maybe a new Zelda comes out. Smash. If a new Smash, which I don't think we'll be getting a new Smash anytime soon.
No.
If ever again, and if it does, it's going to be way pared down compared to Ultimate. Like Sakurai not making Smash anymore is probably going to be the end of that series. You know what I think? I've been proven wrong, but I think they should make the next type game like that. They've shown what the next Mario Kart is going to be like, which kind of I got sad about. But why don't they just make the next game be Super Smash Kart? And it's like you have all the different characters, because Mario Kart 8 basically became that when you put Isabelle and Link and Inkling, you know, and Mies into the game. Like, instead of having every like bottom of the barrel D tier Mario character in it, put like other Nintendo characters in and give them all special, like go back to the Double Dash thing where each character gets a special item or something like that. That would have been awesome. Ultimate, I never enjoyed. I preferred Brawl. Oh, it hurts me. Just like you being hurt by me not liking Stardew Valley, I am hurt that
Brawl.
Brawl.
You're objectively wrong with that.
That's not true.
No, but the sales numbers differ. I'm just fucking with you.
I know. Brawl is I think my least favorite, and it's the least put together, I think.
Oh, I understand not being your favorite. I think it's more put together than Melee.
Really?
Like, yeah, just on the amount of stuff in Brawl is insane. Like not just character things, but like I did an episode on Smash years ago with a friend of the show. He actually, oh my gosh, how do you do? There's a YouTube. His name's Ben, but on YouTube he goes by Fabulous Fish, but he spells it like it's like Gabulous Gotti or something, because he like it's like the GH in. I forget what it was. It was something crazy like that.
That sounds
like
Irish.
It's GHABULOUS. He explains how to pronounce it somewhere else,
Okay.
but I forget what it was. But so he did he does a small YouTube channel. He's a good dude. I haven't talked to him in a while, but he's a good dude. What is it? He came on and he kind of made an argument for Brawl, and it honestly kind of like convinced me like that Brawl is like one of the best Smash games.
I will say, in terms of like what Onox is saying, I agree that the story in Brawl, the Subspace Emissary, was awesome, and I think the Ultimate story. I don't know if I would say that it felt thrown together, but it plays more like a board game than like a proper adventure kind of mode. But there's
Mhm.
so much more to do in the World of Light mode in Ultimate, and I really like what they do with like the spirits and the characters you're fighting, like being kind of representations of all these other Nintendo characters from across the multiverse of Nintendo. But I will say, story mode, definitely give that to Brawl. But the mechanics wise, I'm also coming from somebody who plays it competitively, so when you have your characters like randomly trip over their own feet, like there's a random chance to have you trip and
Yeah,
fall, or like just I didn't like the way that the physics really felt in that one. I feel like they really tightened it up from, because they went from Melee, which was super competitive and
very tight. Yeah,
very fast. So going from that to Brawl, where it felt like slower and floaty, and your characters can trip over themselves. Like I just, it left a bad taste in my mouth. Um, and then so I think that's why I think going from that to like Wii U, Smash Wii U, and Smash Ultimate, which I think the jump from Wii U to Ultimate is not as big as it could have been. But they really tightened it up with those two, I think. I might have to give it
I,
more of a go then sometime. Didn't spend as much time with it than the others. That's fair. I mean, it's
I
also like
I'm
video
also
games, the video game. There's just so much content in it that it's like you're bound to find something that you enjoy in that game.
I'm also not like I don't know. I'm not really I'm not a Smash Brothers fan, to be honest. I think in general, while that it's a fun game, I actually kind of hold the semi controversial opinion the series is a little overrated. Like
Ah, well, you also don't
it's
like
like
fighting games.
yeah, but like I think like each fighting game iteration for like Street Fighter, Soul Calibur, Tekken, they have such big like iterations between the two. They're constantly trying to change something up or make it competitive in a different way. And Smash, I feel like, is a game that people want to be competitive in, but the developers are trying desperately to not make it competitive.
That is
And
fair. I
so
will agree
because
with you on that.
and because of that, it just ends up being like people like revere this series so much, and it just feels like I don't know. I just like it. I know they're good games. It just I don't know. I it just something about it just feels like people treat Smash like it's another, Grand Theft Auto that comes out every time a new one comes out, right? It's that level of revered, and I play it. I'm like, this is just the same fucking thing as last time with different characters. Like, it's I don't know it like you can see like how much like Street Fighter has changed. Like Street Fighter 6 specifically, like the character creation is so in depth.
Mhm.
Like I watching you play it, even like it feels like they're trying to do some major changes each time versus Smash. It doesn't feel like they're trying to do major changes. They're just trying to slightly iterate and then charge you another $60. Like I will say, Ultimate is the only one that I think really try to push something next, like since Brawl, which there's only one in between, to be fair. But I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
also just not a Smash fan, so that just might be me being salty about like Smash. I don't know.
I think
Um,
going from Brawl to Wii U was probably the shortest jump in terms of like doing new things, but they really tightened up the controls of it. I think like if they got it back to feeling good to play again, which for me and a lot of people I know that play that, at a higher, somewhat high level, I guess, uh, is that's what they hated about Brawl. But as maybe I'm
yeah.
just really in it, and I'm like, I feel like every new Smash, there's like a lot of new mechanics.
That's probably it. I'm probably just not in it, and I don't know all the new mechanics. I don't know. It just feels like there's like it gets so hyped up, and then I play it. I'm like, well, it's just the same Smash I remember as before.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
like that's me playing Tekken. Like I feel like going from Tekken to Tekken, I'm like, I don't know, these all feel the same, but I'm also not a Tekken fan. So if you ask like our friend Casey, he could probably list 1,000 changes between each Tekken because he's the
Yeah,
Tekken guy. Just like I could tell you every change that happens in between every Mortal Kombat. I think it just depends on like if you don't like fighting games and you play Smash and you're like, this is the same Smash, and you don't play it and then you play the next one, so it's like Well, yeah, you're not playing it enough to like really see what they've changed.
Yeah. All right. I don't know. I think it's one of those things. I feel like the game series is a little overrated, but I can't quantify as to why I feel that way.
Hmm.
So I'm going to have to do some more soul searching to really kind of, because I don't want to say it's overrated because it objectively is not. It's one of the most popular series of all time.
Yeah, it's
But
probably because the
I
fandom
think
is garbage.
the what? Sorry.
I said it's probably because the fandom is mostly
The
garbage
fandom
people.
is very garbage. That's very true. Real quick, because I will have to start streaming soon, just
Yeah.
because I'm going to be playing Samurai Pizza Cats tonight. It's gonna be fun.
Yes. Did you get the ROM working?
I did get the ROM working.
Nice.
Um,
I mean, did you get the original copy that you imported
on
working?
my Famicom, I do actually
Yes.
own a Famicom, believe it or not.
Nice.
Justin got me one from Japan.
Oh,
It's kind of
sick.
awesome. Yeah. So the other stuff I experienced was Mario Kart DS.
Great.
Now,
Great game.
so it's
Underrated.
funny. I'm not a huge Mario Kart fan either, but that's more just because I'm not a racing game fan. Like I never really been that big into it, and part of it is also because I'm not great at racing games. But I've been enjoying this, and I'll tell you why. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I go into the office at work
Hmm.
and I bring my DS, and a bunch of friends who recently met also bring their DSs, and we do DS download play. Like I'm the only one that
Yeah.
brings a copy of the game, and we all connect and they download the little small client version of Mario Kart DS, and we play Mario Kart together.
Yeah, it's
It,
great.
it is immensely fun, and we had 4 people today that we were playing. We did like 5 or 6 races. They only have a half an hour break, but we did like 5 or 6 races. We did a battle mode as well.
Do you guys
And
picto chat afterwards?
what? Sorry.
Do you guys picto chat afterwards?
Oh my god, I was I no, because we have to go back to our desks and I don't want to get fired.
Yeah.
But it's still really fucking funny. So yeah, um, it's really amusing to me. So yeah, we've been DS download play has been really cool, and general honest, because DS download play got us through some long bus rides. It's so cool, dude.
It's
I also
awesome.
mentioned how like you can play Mario Party like that. Um, I looked up a list of other games you can do it. DK Jungle Climber, apparently you can do DS download play. I
Huh.
don't know what that would entail, but it'd be kind of cool. And with my I just do it for convenience. I totally own all the original copies
Yes.
of this, of this R4 Gold here. Um, I've been getting to try out a handful of different things, so I have some. I can make these games very easily accessible that so I don't have to bring my whole collection to work.
Yes, yes, yes.
So it's really cool. So I've been experiencing that. I've been getting to play Mario Kart multiplayer, and in all honesty, in this context, like I think the reason I didn't like Mario Kart is because I was always playing it by myself, and it's really like it's meant. I know it's obvious, but it's so hard to like. I don't like to play online, especially Nintendo's online isn't great.
Yeah.
And whenever I go to parties with friends, I don't know why I just never enjoy playing it. But doing this at lunch, just like the novelty of like we all show like we're playing on like what's even funnier is like all of us have different models of DS. I brought my 3DS. One of the others brought a DS Lite. Another brought an original DS model, like
Oh, the fat
OG
boy.
DS. And then another brought a 3DS XL. So like
Nice.
you have all these different models
That's so cool.
of DS here, and it's really fucking cool, man.
I
It's
have a
really cool.
2DS XL that I love.
That's what I have.
It's like the
I
Pokemon
have
one. It's like we close it and it's like a Pokeball, and it's got the little button that you can press that does nothing, but it feels cool.
I have a regular 3DS, and then somewhere at my parents' house when I moved my game collection over there, I had a part of my game collection. I have a 2DS XL, but it's cool. It's been really fun to get to experience that and play DS games with people and kind of bring back like old ass technology. It's really fucking
I
cool.
love that. Yeah, like Onox said, definitely get you through the long bus rides. That got me through long study halls, like playing secretly, like playing DS games in your backpack, sitting on the desk, like getting in trouble for it. I loved it. Oh, and to real quick before it goes away, Onox, the newest Pokemon games, Scarlet and Violet, have changed dramatically. They're almost like Zelda games at this point. Like open world, you're just kind of running around a wild open world, which I thought was maybe a bit of a too much of a departure. There's something somewhat magical about the old Pokemon format that I really like, but I think if they bring a little bit of the old school style stuff back into whatever they do next, it's going to be amazing. So highly recommend the newer games. Or we were talking before, you haven't played any of the 3D ones. I would highly recommend play X and Y, or X or Y. Anyway,
I've played X. I've played X actually, but anyway, the last thing I'll share before we head out and before I play a little bit of Samurai Pizza Cats
yeah,
is I recently, not to promote my own stuff, but something I had an episode come out Sunday that I'm very very proud of, and it was the stuff I shared the clip of last Tuesday.
yeah,
It's my interview with David Cassidy, the author of the Final Fantasy VIII Strategy Guide, Final Fantasy VII Strategy Guide, Kingdom Hearts 2, Parasite Eve,
right.
like, excuse me, sorry. Dude's done a ton of different strategy guides, and
Mm,
my episode dropped, and the reception to it has been fantastic.
nice.
Um, and so it's been about 48 hours, a little over 48 hours since the episode came out, and I already have 135 downloads, which is more than than last week's episode already. And normally it takes about a week to get about 110 downloads. And the
Wow.
fact that it's up to 135
In
is
2 days.
really, really good. So I'm really happy with that.
Nice.
Um,
It,
so yeah, I'm just really happy with how the episode turned out. I'm really grateful for it. It's been great. It's been great. So the response has been awesome, and it's just such a cool. Especially, I feel bad promoting it during such a like awful time. I'm like, hey everyone, the world's burning, but here's a strategy guide episode.
yeah, I mean
Um,
that's kind of how I feel with all this stuff though. Like, you know, I don't often feel like I want to do streaming and like let's play fun video games or let's because of everything going on and how it's affecting my mental health. But it's such a good outlet and it's such a good and don't ever feel bad about pimping your own stuff on here. Like I want you to like please do. Uh, you're half of Talk Tuesdays on the Experience Point, so please pimp all the still loading pod stuff you can. And that's awesome though.
well, and I do think also it's important to share art during hard times because you need
Yeah.
some levity. Like you still need a fight for what's important, but you do need some levity to kind of take your mind off of things, for Christ's sake. Like,
Yeah, for sure. I
there's too much going on. So yeah, I'm very grateful for the feedback on this episode. I've gotten some nice comments on it. In general, it's just done really, really well. So really happy with that. Really happy with sorry,
bless.
with what has been going on. Coming up on the show too. Um, man, I have a lot to actually like. Now I'm thinking about like what I have coming up this weekend in terms of recording. I have a lot going on. Let me
Portal
close out
next
some
week.
of this 'cause yes, Portal. We're recording Portal next week. Uh, then come on.
We're gonna play it on Thursday, or I'm gonna show it
Nice.
to Polisa on Thursday.
I have so I was bummed out. Did I talk about the Zelda thing last week at all?
The Zelda thing. I don't think so.
Okay. Um, so I this is not an official promotion type of thing because it. So I got asked to help like promote a Zelda fan film that got C and D'd by Nintendo.
Oh,
It got C and D'd already. Like it was just a couple days ago.
dang.
So I recorded an episode with them Friday, and I had to re-edit the whole thing to cut out any mention of the movie.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah, thankfully it wasn't a hard edit, but it was a pain in the ass. So it could have been so much worse. We compartmentalized the movie talk to the beginning, so uh we were able to get rid of that. But it's a bummer because the episode is really good. And I feel bad because my co-host Dexter on the cartoon episodes, he's never interviewed someone before, so he kind of took the lead on interviewing. He had a bunch of questions. I kind of let him have at it, and I had to cut out his whole interview.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, really sucks.
They can't even talk about it?
They said any promotional stuff, so I had to remove everything from the episode.
Oh, man.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but this is such a small thing.
Probably because there's
talks of the Zelda movie in production. Yeah, it is.
That's
I was kind of confused when they were raising money on Kickstarter for it. They almost raised all they wanted, and all of the funds were going to go directly to the movie, to the short film, and it was going to be released for free on YouTube. Like, it wasn't for profit at all.
Yeah.
But then after that, I have an episode on that, and on an indie RPG called Beloved Rapture coming out. Then, assuming everything goes well with the recording schedule, Portal will be out after that, once we record it and everything. And then Mario month starts.
Oh my God, it's almost March.
What? Sorry?
I can't believe it's almost March.
Well, it's
like around the corner.
We got less than a month until March. Been a cool couple of weeks. So nice. I mean, not politically or in world, but in terms of podcast stuff, it's been a cool couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I have seen download numbers spike, so I wonder if that's just indicative of people's stress levels.
Well, I mean, people need to find escape, find worlds to kind of disappear into for a little bit. Which is one of the reasons I'm really liking Steambot Chronicles, is because it's just so which apparently, and Onox can attest, I didn't realize that I remember Sam Martino, who I interviewed about this game, mentioning every boss fight in that game, whether you win or lose, it keeps going. The story just keeps going. So apparently I fought the first boss, who's like the leader of this like crime syndicate, basically the Team Rocket equivalent. And then Onox was like, "Oh, R.I.P. Vanilla," because that's your character's name. And I guess because the boss fight's really hard, and I ended up beating him, and now I'm the boss of the. They're called the Killer Elephants, and I was like, "What? This is wild!" So the story has almost entirely changed now. Like, they stole a bunch of money from this town, and I took a little bit of it, but I was like having them give it back, and I was like, "What? That's just so cool that now that's it's canon." So, but that's been a great world to disappear into in the height of all this garbage. Trying to be the hero, but now he controls the villains. But you see, you can make the villains do good. Or at least I'm going to try to anyway. I told him to give back all the money. Yeah. But anyway.
That's cool.
You got some Samurai Pizza Cats to get to. I have such vague memories of that show. I would love to tune into it. And anyone who's watching right now, we've got some cool stuff over on the Still Loading Pod channel. So I guess that will do it for us here on the February 4th edition of Talk Tuesdays.
Talk Tuesdays.
Thank you, sir, for hanging and talking and getting me to talk about anything other than my rage for a little bit.
Like I said, get off the phone, dude.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about any of the stuff tonight. Put your phone away.
Yep. Yeah,
put it away.
We're gonna continue.
Play some games, watch a movie, take a breather.
Yeah.
It is the only way we're gonna get through this. Just trying to take it one day at a time, fight one day at a time, take steps. Even if it's just marginal stuff. Like I said, I should be saving money right now. It's only $1. It's only $1 a month, but I'm giving it to a trans content creator who I really respect and like their work. So that's small, but it's in defiance of what's happening right now in the U.S. So
and it's not nothing.
So it's every little bit counts. Anyway, yes, I will get going. I will start my stream up, and Samurai Pizza Cats, here we come.
Hell yeah! All right, thanks, sir. I will see you next time
on the flippity flop.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out here tonight. Thank you, General Onox. Thanks to Drew. Parallax was in here for a bit. I think Keaton has us pulled up. Even though he's got some friends over or something, I believe. Oh, he's out of friends, but is providing views. Appreciate you as well, Keaton. Let us do our little raid to still loading pod. Keep the love going, keep the support going. Because right now, oh man, all we got is each other. So let's see. I'm not sure if he's active yet, but let's try to start the raid. The raid has been created. Everyone take care of yourselves. Just take it easy, take it one day at a time. I'm telling myself this. I'm telling myself to take care of himself. As always, go to therapy. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. What's my recommendation today? Play Putt Putt Saves the Zoo. All right. Good night, everyone. Love you guys.